again, I definitely thank you for joining me here. I'm Mr. Marquise. This is Mr. Marquise Tutors Me. And right now we're doing a test taking technique presentation. This is a tutorial on test taking. And these are just the techniques that I use when, if it's a math test, if it's an English test, if it's a science test. I'm calming myself down before. I'm calming myself during the entire test. I'm watching my breathing. I'm making sure I'm paying attention to what's in front of me, and that is my paper, my test, and nothing but what's in front of me. I'm not worried about what's around me, who's around me. I'm more focused on this test. Now we're down to maybe the last two questions of this test. So this presentation went by pretty fast, but let's go ahead and get this last one. It says, what is the definition of gist? What is the definition of gist? Is it A, the facts used by the author to make a point? B, the transactions between paragraphs? C, the conclusion of an article? Or D, the main point or essence? Now, this is basically just asking, do you know what the word gist means? And all I would do is just use it in a sentence. Make sure I can use it in a sentence. Do I get the gist of Mr. Marquise's presentation? Do I get the gist? Did he give me the gist of his test-taking techniques? And once I use it in that type of context or that sentence, you can see that, okay, it's definitely not the transactions between paragraphs, the gist. Now, it can be the facts used by the author to make a point, or it can be the main point or essence, right? So if you get the gist of it, if you get the gist of what Mr. Marquise is trying to lay down, if you're picking up what I'm laying down, then you understand that D, the main point or essence, is the gist. Okay, if you got D, the main point or essence is the definition of gist, then you are correct, and you are within the 77% of the other users who answered correctly. Yeah, so just knowing definitions is important. Understanding grammar is how you understand the English language. The most important thing to remember is English is derived from every other language. English is one of the last languages created. It is a business language. When you are talking English, you are talking money, and that is worldwide. That's why English is one of the most it is one of the languages that is spoken the most worldwide. This quiz was pretty short, pretty simple, so I would take a couple of more tests, just remembering that, you have to know what a sentence fragment is. You have to know what conjunction. Yes, I said something about conjunction earlier, and conjunction just combines the sentences. Let me go in here. It's actually making sure making sure your wording is correct when it comes to conjunctions. Basically, you can't say I ran, I read, and I am writing. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a better example. Let's see. Let me go and use one of theirs. Okay, it says adding a comma and coordinating conjunction between the two clauses. So, so they basically had a run-on sentence that they were trying to basically separate the clauses without breaking up the sentence. Their first sentence says, William gazed across the broad Pacific. His heart was filled with dread. No comma, no nothing in there. William gazed across the broad Pacific. His heart was filled with dread. That's like a run-on that needs some kind of punctuation in there. Now we can break the long sentence and say, William gazed across the broad Pacific, period. His heart was filled with dread, period. We can also reduce one of the clauses, make it a little bit shorter. When William gazed across the broad Pacific, comma, his heart was filled with dread. But when adding and coordinating conjunctions between the two clauses, it brings the sentence together and says, William gazed across the broad Pacific, comma, but his heart was filled with dread. That's how you conjoin sentences using a comma and or a but. A comma and something else like the word but. That is how you conjoin sentences. Yeah, that's a run-on sentence, but it can be conjoined to make two separate clauses in that one sentence. That was the end of that particular quiz or test that can be found at Quizlet.com. This question here is kind of a carryover from our algebra tutorial. Now, no, this was not a part of the quiz, but it is a part of the presentation. And it's just to keep your mind fresh. Like, yes, we've been dealing with English all day, dealing with grammar and grammatical errors all day. They threw a little bit of math in there, so I said, okay, let me throw a little bit of math in there at the very end to kind of keep your attention, basically. This question is a simple true false question. I won't hold your time. I won't keep you waiting or keep you here with me for too much longer, I should say. Okay. I think I'm having a little too much fun with these presentations and slides and PowerPoints. But let's get right to it. This is the very end. This is the last thing I may ask you. We can go back and discuss some other things. We'll go back through the grammar, the basic grammar rules one more time. But I just want to give you this algebra question. It says negative 3ab plus 4ac minus 2ad equals negative parentheses 3ab minus 4ac plus 2ad. Now, the first thing you want to look at is, okay, if the left side equals the right side, this is true. Now, the only way the left side can equal the right side is if the terms negative 3ab are exactly the same, and even the expression itself, the entire expression, negative 3ab plus 4ac minus 2ad, if one letter is different, the entire problem is false, right? If it were saying, excuse me, if it were saying negative 3ab plus 4ab minus 2ab, you know what I'm saying, you would be able to go ahead and add and subtract the actual numbers, and it'll come together and say, you know, negative 1ab, right? That'll be on the right side or on the left side. And then on the right side, you just take that negative and you want to distribute it within the parentheses. A negative outside of the parentheses by itself is just like saying negative 1, right? It's just like saying negative 1. So once you multiply negative 1 into the entire problem on the right side, it switches the sign. That's all it does. That's all a 1 would do. 3 or any number times 1 would be that number. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. But when that negative is in front of it, it changes the entire sign. So the negative on the outside of these parentheses, you know that the PEMDAS says you have to do the parentheses first. So within the parentheses, all of them don't say AB. So we're not able to just add them all up within the parentheses and then bring it out of the parentheses and have that negative right there. Since they're not all the same, we have to just distribute the negative, changing the signs, which would make it negative 3ab minus 4a or plus 4ac minus 2ad. Yes, and we see that the left side equals the right side, making this equation true. So A, true, is my final answer. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, the first thing you want to do is make sure every number and variable, which is a letter, make sure every number and variable are the same. Once you distribute the negative outside of the parentheses on the right side, all the signs change, right? So yeah, that makes this particular equation true. The left side equals the right side. That's all it was asking. Does the left side equal the right side? And just knowing signs and how signs change, like when you're adding a negative and a negative, it makes the answer negative. When you're multiplying a negative and a negative, it makes the answer positive. You know, a negative times a positive would be a negative. Positive makes it positive. But a negative times a negative makes it a positive as well. That's just something to remember. And that was just a refresher on the algebra tutorial. And yes, I put it at the end of this test taking techniques. I put it at the end of this just to remind you that hey, we're dealing with more than just English, science. We're dealing with math at all times. Math will be a part of everything that we do. I definitely thank you for being a part of this particular presentation. Hopefully you learned how to calm yourself when you're taking tests. You can look for me at Marquise or Mr. Marquise Tutors Me at gmail.com. Mr. Marquise Tutors Me at protonmail.com. You'll find these presentations on YouTube at Mr. Marquise TM, Mr. Marquise Tutors Me, or you'll find it on Facebook at Little Keepers Lit Club. Yeah, man, thank you again. I am enjoying this. I look forward to the next presentation. I look forward to you liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. It's greatly appreciated. I'm kind of new to this, but I definitely know about algorithms and getting traffic to your page, or getting people to actually see your presentations. And this is how I chose to do it. I didn't want to have my face on the screen, or I didn't want to be a distraction. You looking at me too much and not actually paying attention to what I'm saying. I need you to take my voice with you to your classroom, to your tests. Wherever you are going, my voice will be with you. And I'm going to tell you, you got this. You got this. Good job on the work today. Now this is our cool down, calm down session. You know how we end it. We have to do our little breathing session. That way we're kind of leaving everything we've learned right here, or leaving the test right where it is, just so you're not wrecking your brain throughout the rest of your day. You know what I'm saying? I know we have a lot going on. I have a lot going on. I probably get about 4 hours of sleep every night, but I always take my time and I calm myself down with the breathing and with the shutting down of my mind, period. Even if I have to just close my eyes, I'm cooling down, calming down, taking deep breaths, breathing in through my nose, breathing out through my mouth. I'm breathing in, smelling the roses, blowing it out of my mouth, blowing the candles. Smell the roses, blow out the candles. Smell the roses, blow out the candles. And it's just to cool you down, calm you down, bring you back to reality. You're not thinking about math anymore. You're not thinking about reading, writing, understanding what you've read. We're not going to worry about that anymore. The test is over. Once the test is over, you can breathe a sigh of relief, collect yourself again, and get on with the rest of your day. Get on with the rest of your life. Go and have you a laugh. Go find something to play with. We'll calm down. We'll calm down. And if you need to pray, go ahead and pray. Go ahead and pray. Whatever makes you feel better. How I feel shouldn't matter to you. My opinion shouldn't matter. Don't give my opinion any value. Your opinion will be the only one that matters when it comes time to take the test. Just take my voice in there with you. You got this. You calm down, you bring yourself to a cool, calm place, you'll find me right there saying, you got this. You remember that. Do this. Remember what you wrote down. Keep me with you when you are taking your test. Remember some of these words. Remember some of these questions. You may have some of these same exact questions, just a couple of numbers different, a couple of signs difference, a couple of words. Your passages may be a little different. You may get an entire passage, and then they ask you the 4 questions at the end. What's the main point? What was the author thinking? How did the author feel? Yes. You're going to remember all of that when it's time to take your test. Once that test is over, you're going to free your mind of all of that stuff with your cool down, your calming of yourself, and your prayer, if prayer is needed. If it's not needed, I would end this with saying thank you for coming to Mr. Marquise's presentation. This is my test technique or test taking technique tutorial. Yeah, it's that hard. Test taking techniques tutorial. I look forward to the next one. I'll see you guys next time. Thank y'all. God bless. Have a good one.